Okay, so after Likutei Moharan, period Zayin. So after we have explained, we're actually going to see Ches. So after we explained that Yira and Ahava it is only possible to receive by the Tzaddik Yador. It's very possible a person should be by the Tzaddik, but still will not get the Yira and the Ahava because of his misdeeds, because of his bad deeds, and which has caused him, to stupidity. In other words, in his mind, he has false opinions, which mislead him, and because of this, he cannot see the light of the tzaddik. We also explained that kind of dumbness is fed by improper eating. When a person is eating in a gluttonous way. Now, we also explained that when Gerim come, they rectify the Gama Achila, and we explained how the Kiyam come about. When you give tzedakah, that brings about clear air, and through this the Dibur Emunah of the Tzaddik travel a great distance and get imprinted in their scriptures. What that does, it causes them, the Akum, to find in their books, inner contradictions, things that contradict their own Emunah. And how does it happen? It happens because they have particles of Nishmas Yisrael that are being downtrodden in by the realm of the Goyim. That are fine, those that find, Hepech HaMonasa. And when they get back, when that Nishmas Yisrael go back to the good, they go to the Kedusha, they yank with them, chunks of the evil itself, which is the Ger. And sometimes, when the particles of Nishmas Yisrael are being drawn deeper, to the depth, to the inside of the Goyim, then they go out in the children of the Goyim. Because this is where the Zera comes from the very inner core of the Machshava. And then the children become Ger. Now we're going to explain how all this is alluded to in the story of Rav Safra. Rav Safra told a story. One time we traveled in the ship. And we saw that fish that took its head out of the water. And it had horns. That fish had horns. And on the horns it was engraved, Ano Bria Kol Shabayam, I am one of the smallest creatures of the sea. Ve'avinen Shinparsa, and my length is 300 miles. Ve'azlina Lepero Deviosam, and I'm going into the mouth of the Leviosam. He's going to eat me today. Amar Rav Ashi said, Hawiz of the Yama, that was the goats of the sea. The Bechisha, Vitlekane, that it has horns with which it digs the bottom of the sea to look for food, And the Rashbam says, Birya Kalo, from the small creatures of the sea, the Purple Devyosan should eat me today. He said, the Yama, he says like this, that everything that exists on land, there's a parallel creature in the sea, except the Chulda, except the rat. this is in the Bechisha, that it digs the sea with its karnayim to look for its food. I don't know what it says, B'shkifas Chulin. I'm not exactly sure what it is that he means by that. And what's alluded to in Rav Safra is as follows. Chazina kavra da pikre shnei maya. We saw that fish that lifted its head out of the water. Kavra, zibchinas toiv. The fish, this is the toiv, this is the good. Shem chelke nishmas Yisrael. That's the particles of Nishamas Yisrael imagate together. They the Nishmas Yisrael, when they come back, the Gerim come together with them because they are so tightly, together that when they come back, they pull them. Kidogim, there's a principle by fish, asifoson imitaroson. There's no shchita by fish. The only thing you need to do in order to catch a fish is you can just gather them, then you can eat them. Asifoson imitaroson. You're gathering them together, is mitara. This asifa, this gathering together, the b'chinas chelke neshamas. This is the particles of the neshamas. B'chinas, as it is said, rucha v'nishmosa elav yasof. The Kodesh Baruch Hu gathers the ruach and neshama of a person. So you see in the neshama there is a b'china of gathering. So the neshama there is a shaykh, an action of gathering. By a fish, there's a shaykh, an union of gathering. Dogim asifos and metarosa. That's so asifa here, asifa there. So the fish alludes to Nishmas Yisrael that are downtrodden and captive by the goy. Also, the dag is also merames for gerim, b'chinas gerim. B'chinas sheneemar nidivei amim ne'esafu. The generous of the nations, in other words, those that are going to convert, ne'esafu, they will gather to Eretz Yisrael. So over here is also a b'china of gathering. The neshamas gather, the fish gather, the gerim gather. So you see, these are all parallel aspects. And the gerim asifa, fish asifa. So there, that's why the Chacham are called the masters of gathering. That they gather the good, the lost good, through the Dibur Emunah that are engraved in the air, and are being imprinted in this form of the Goyim and cause the good to come together with the Gerim. So the Chacham are called Baalei Asuf as the masters of gathering, because it is through their Dibur Emunah, the travel that ultimately results in the gathering of the good and the Gerim. This good together with the Gerim, took his head out of the water. Ainu, shemoitzias hasechel, that takes the sechel, that takes the yishuv adas, which is in the head, mishtifas hamayim azedolim, from the rapid white water, flow, tsunami, or what we call evil water. That's the foolishness that sweeps away the sechel. You can see that when stupidity comes in a wave, it washes away the sechel. Like you see Nazi Germany. Whatever caused people, the minute that they came and it became like a national stupidity, it just washed away the seichel. I mean, they had seichel, but how could it just washed away the seichel? The same thing when you see when in any election campaign. This is the reign of stupidity. People come with the most inane, exclamations, and they go with it. Yes, we can. We can what? No, yes, we can. Oh, okay. And everybody goes along with it. This is a flood of mayim zaydonim, of evil water, of ill-meaning water. This is a stupidity that washes away the seichel. So when the particles of Nishmas Yisrael come back to their place, and Gerim come with them, and it defeats the Avodah Zorah that yanks from the Chelkei HaMizbeach, because until now the Avodah Zorah took from the Pagam of the Mizbeach because of the improper eating. So the Avodah Zorah was feeding off it, so the stupidity was reigning supreme. But now that the Gerim come back, the particles of the Mizbeach, they come back to their place. And the person is able to eat the Kedusha. And this cancels out the stupidity. This is called, the fish, the good, the Gerim, took its head, the Seichel, out of the water, the Mayim Azidonim, this. And now Rav Safra explain what brought the good and the Gerim to awaken and come back. The Hava Lekarne, and it had horns. The Chakik Alayu, and it was engraved on them, Anabrio Kol Shebayam. I'm the minutest, the smallest creature of the sea. Even Shimpas, I'm sorry, and I am 400 miles long. Ve'azlinen le'puma de Livyosan, and I'm swimming. I'm going to the mouth of the Livyosan. I'm sorry, Shin, just 300 off one. I'm going to the mouth of the Livyosan. So what is actually the mysteries, the Torah mysteries, which are hidden here, are as follows: Karno, Zebchinas Doko. The horn of plenty, right? The horn is the horn of plenty, of giving. That's generosity. Sakana zet tzedakah, shubchinas hoyin yisifrim rabim. Why? Because when you give tzedakah, what you get in the olam hazeh is just the interest you get in the olam hazeh. But the keren, the capital that you've acquired with the tzedakah is kayemes l'olam haba. It exists for olam haba. As Munbaz said, Kamama Munbaz, when they asked him why is he giving his money away to poor people, my forefathers, they gathered, they hid money down here. And I hid it up, I put it away, I stashed it away, l'olam haba. That's why Karno means the principle. The principle is remez to tzedakah. The chakik alayu, and what is engraved on it. In other words, through the tzedakah that creates this air that allows for clear communication. Nasa chakiko, it does this engraving in the air. Chas ksav, that's that dibur emun of the tzaddik, which are written and engraved in the air. And his reputation is the hearing of what he's saying travels the land. Where la tova kovush ben ha'akum, to the good, which is captured by the goy. And it awakens it to do tshuva and come back to its fruits. Because the good remember itself. In other words, it reminds itself. Ano brio kol shebayam. I'm the lightest creature in the sea. In other words, shani lemala mikol oilus. I originate above all the highest of the spiritual realms that exist in Bechlal. Because all the oilus are alluded to, hinted to in the word Yam. Because the Mem is Arba Olamas. The Mem, which is square, which is 40, is Atzilus Bria Yetzir Asir. And before the Olam of Atzilus, of emanation, was created, and from which trickled down Olam Bria, and from this trickled down Olam Yetzirah, and from this trickled down Olam Asir. And from the Olam Asir came this material, physical world. The Yud, that's the Mem. What about the Yud? The Yud is B'chinas Chochmah. It is known that in the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, the first Yud signifies the spheres of Chochmah. The B'chinas Chochmah shemispashet b'chol ha'olamas, that fills out all the olamas, all the realms. All the olamas were created by using the spheres of Chochmah. Because spheres of Chochmah is the first sphere of all 10 spheres. And the light of the Chochmah, fills out all the spheres. And in every realm, every world, is comprised of 10 spheres. And this is what is said in the words Brio Kol Shabayam. Hainu Kmo Shadovar Akal Utzaf Lamal. This is something which is light, it floats above. Ken Neshama Shel HaTov, the Neshama which is the good. Ulemal Mekol Olamas is above all the realms, which allude to the word Yam, as we said before. All the olamas were created from Nishmas Yisrael. So it is therefore found that Nishmas Yisrael are really on a much higher madrega than all the worlds. But that's not the only thing that the good tells itself. It also reminds itself, Va'avino Shin Parsa, and my length is 300 miles. The neshama reminds it that the neshama nizkeres shoysa b'chinas Israel ol b'machshava tchila, that Israel was designed to be created first. HaKadosh Baruch Hu nimlach mo b'briyas ha'olam. The Kadosh Baruch Hu kiviyachol, advised himself with this oil. These are the creators that are sitting by the plants, sitting by, in the plenary meetings, plenary sessions before the world was created, with the king at his toil, in the B'rias Ha'olam. Shenimlach Nishmusay Shel Yisrael B'shas B'rias Ha'olam. The Baruch Hu consulted the Nishmas Yisrael when he created the world. The Neshama reminds itself it was such a high madrega, the Kadosh Baruch Hu consulted with it about the creation of the world. And now it is going to oblivion. This is alluded to in the word Shin Paso, because Shin is a word that has three heads, right? Mm-hmm. Shin. This is the machshava. Shenachlekes l'shlosha roshim. The machshava, there are 3 types of thoughts. Machshava sichlias. These are thoughts that have to do with ideas, the sechel of a person. Machshavos midosiyos. Thoughts that have to do with midos, anger, generosity, kindness. It's not a seichel, it's a midah. Or machshavos maisiyos. And practical thoughts. What you're going to do, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. The parso, b'chinas regel, because as we said, when Moshe Rabbeinu said, Paro said to Moshe Rabbeinu, who's going? Who's leaving? So Moshe Rabbeinu says, us, with this, with our children, with our flocks, whatever it is. He says, we're not going to leave a hoof, which means a regel. A hoof is, it's a foot. It's not, it's a pasal pchinas regel, as it said in Shmos. And regel, hainu eitzah. Regel is a euphemism for eitzah, כמו לכל העם אשר ברגליך, and all the people that are at your feet. What does it mean at your feet? הנמשכים אחר עצתך. All the students, the pupil at your feet. What does it mean? That they go after your eitzah. They go after, after what you tell them to do. אלא שנמשול נזכר שאתה בתחילת המחשבה. It was in the beginning of the מחשבה, which is the shin. There's 3 types of machshavas. And in Parso, this is the union of the Eitzah. The Kodesh Baruch Hu asked the Eitzahs about creating the world. Now I'm going to the mouth of Leviosa. It's oblivion, and nothing is chas v'sholom. And it feels sorry for itself, and it awakens to get back to its roots. That brings about the tshuva and gerim. But Hashem will continue this. No, it's longer than what it seems.